So we are out here on a Saturday morning. It's April 20th. We're going to be doing some spraying today, and I'm going to have to blow these helicopters. Or anytime I'm spraying, I like to get this stuff off the yard. Luckily it's confined to this area from that maple tree, but the grasses are looking good. It is growing extremely fast. Temps has been low to mid 80s. Thursday it was 88 actually, or 87. So it's prime time growing conditions, and it's growing insanely fast. And I mowed this Wednesday at 3 inches. It probably doesn't look tall, but it's already grown quite a bit. But what we're going to spray today is a growth regulator called Anuew, and that's going to help control the growth. It's basically going to stop it. It still will grow a little bit, but it's going to put a big halt to it, and I'm okay with that because this time of year the grass is so thick. If it gets too tall, the cut suffers, and then you get more tears in the blades, and then that just leads to disease issues. So there are some more positives about spraying a growth regulator, but there are some negatives also. So stick around here and I will go over that with you. I'll show you how to mix it up, and we'll get to spraying it. So this is a Anuew. It is a plant growth regulator. What this does is it regulates the top growth, and it focuses that top growth energy to the roots. So the way I apply this is I start off at a low rate, and then I build my way up. And this particular product, they make it in a liquid, but this is a WDG, so it's a wettable granular, and it has to be weighed out in dry ounces on like a kitchen scale. So the way you do this with Anuew is you use growing degree days for your reapplication, and there's a calculator on Syngenta. It's free, it don't cost you anything, and you can go by that. On the label, the low rate's 280 days growing degree days, and the high rate's 350 growing degree days. So if you're applying the low rate, you would use that Syngenta calculator, which would be, you'd be going by 280 days, and you would just put in the day that you applied it, and when it gets to 280 you need to reapply it, or a day before. So let's go over the pros and cons of this stuff. So the pros: root development, less mowing, better color, better stress tolerance due to stronger roots, and a tighter canopy. And for me, the big deal for me is less mowing. My yard gets so thick, and I cut at 3 inches, the cut starts to get poor here late April, 1st of May, it just it looks like it wants to scalp all the time because it's growing so much and so fast. The cut just suffers. So, that's the main reason that I want to apply this, so, I can still have a good cut. And the biggest thing is the root development. Like I mentioned, it takes the energy, the growth, the top growth energy, and focuses that to the roots. So if you apply this, your mowing is going to be cut down drastically. I mean, you'd be lucky to mow normally once a week. So what are the cons of applying this? Well, the con is it's not going to grow. So if you've got any kind of damage, whether it be, mechanical damage, stress damage, fungus damage, herbicide damage, it's not going to grow out of it. So if you've got damage using this, it's there to stay until it comes off regulation. So that's some stuff you really need to think about. Some growth regulators can cause some bronzing effect when you first apply it. It's typically one reason why I go out with a low rate first. Anew's not too awful bad at that. I haven't really seen any, but some of the other ones we're not even going to talk about will cause more bronzing. So another con of this is the rebound effect. So when this comes off of regulation, it's going to grow twice as much as what it would be normally if it wasn't even regulated. So, you got to stay on your game when you apply this stuff. When it comes off of regulation, it's going to grow. Another con's the cost. I mean, this stuff is not cheap. I think a bag of this is 1.5 pounds. It's about $140. If you got a smaller yard, then it's not terrible. It takes 2 or 3 bags a year to do this. So when should you apply a growth regulator? Well, when the grass is actively growing. So we are mid-April here, and it's just getting into prime time. I mean, the grass looks good, but the soil temperature is not even optimal yet. I think it's around 60 degrees. Keep having a few cold snaps. So when it hits 65 to 70, it's game on for it to start growing just crazy. And as I mentioned, do not apply a PGR if it's stressed from aerification, herbicides, heat and drought stress, or disease. It's going to look like crap for a good while until it rebounds off the regulation. And as I mentioned before, the reapplying, you use the growing degree days for this. So, and I told you that Syngenta had a free calculator to keep track of that. So I will stop applying this probably middle of June. It just all depends on the temperatures. Middle of June, 1st of July, the grass starts to getting a little bit stressed out, and that's when the bad stuff starts happening. You're looking at disease pressure, and if you don't have irrigation, obviously you're getting in the drought stress, heat stress. So I typically will stop applying it sometime in June, 1st of July. But that's basically the pros and cons of it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of cons other than if something happens, it's there to stay until it comes off of regulation. So the one of the big pros of it, as I mentioned, is the root growth. It takes that energy and focuses it to the roots. So that in turn can help with drought stress. And just stronger roots creates a better turf. It's plain and simple. It's more tolerant to stresses, disease, anything. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to mix this up. Like I mentioned, it's a WDG, so we have to weigh it out in dry ounces. And I will be using the low rate the first step. I think it's 0.18 ounces per 1,000 square feet. I'm going to have to double check. Always read your label, folks. Anything you need to know is in that label. It doesn't matter what it is. Fertilizer, fungicide, growth regulator. It's all on the label. Follow the label. The label is the law. So I'm going to start getting this mixed up, and I'll show you how to do it, and then we'll get to spraying it. So stick around. So this is what we're going out with today. Going to do some iron foliar application. All this. Going to do some impulse. This is a amino acid mix. Going to do some polyphosphate and some Adam's earth. That's a amino acid mix also. And like I mentioned, we're going to run this Anuew. So that Anuew is a WDG granular. So you'll weigh it with a scale and dry ounces. So I'm going to take my cup there, set it on there, tear it out. So we're at 0. And I have got to have 5.76 ounces of this Anuew for my square footage. So I'm going to pour this in here. .83. Put a little bit back in there. 5.68. So there we are, 5.76 ounces, or 5.770, whatever. It's close enough. Just remember, if you're doing a WDG, you got to weigh it out in dry ounces. So that's what a WDG looks like. It's made to turn into a liquid. So you'll mix that with water. For you guys is doing backpack sprayers, the easiest way to get this stuff to dissolve is get you a jug, put a gallon of water in it, pour this in it, and just shake it up really well, and then you can transfer it over to your sprayer. That'll, a backpack sprayer doesn't have the agitation. Of course, you can use like a paint mixer on a drill to do it that way also, but I always give me a gallon or a jug and put a gallon of water in it and pour this in there and just shake the crap out of it and then transfer it to my sprayer. I even do it with my big sprayer most of the time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I am on this Anuew, I am doing the low rate, which is 0.18 ounces per 1,000 square feet. That's what I'm starting off with. And just remember, this Anuew, the reapplication on it is by growing degree days, GDD, and I will link that calculator. It's a free calculator in the description if you guys want to use this stuff. And so what you'll do is the day you apply it, you'll put that in the calculator and it'll count up the days for you. I'm not going to do any video on the ground of me spraying. I'm just going to stick the drone up in the air and do it. You guys have seen me spray before, and it's just more stuff I have to worry about when I'm trying to do an application. So I'll just stick the drone up in the air and get some shots of spraying, and that's what we're going to do. So I'll be right back at you here. So we got that growth regulator sprayed. The sun can't make its mind up if it wants to come out or go in. I should have mentioned also, this will help, you know, this is the time of year when yards start going to seed. So that should help suppress some of those seed heads and those stalks. But I tell you, if there's anything I dislike about using a ride-on sprayer in my yard, it's the tracks. That stuff burns me up, those tracks, but there's not much I can do about it. Got a big yard and I need a sprayer to spray it with, and I don't have time to backpack spray, so I'll deal with it, and that's what we'll do. So hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate and have some good luck, and I'll keep you updated on this, tell you how it looks here in a couple weeks or something. So I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.